Good morning, everyone. I am Recie Myers coming to you live from the city of Richmond. I'm also known as Recie.
Good morning. I'm her husband, Roland. Glad to be here with you all.
Yes, and I'm so
Physically.
happy. I'm so happy. I think, anyway, I'm glad that he's here with me this morning. You know, every morning Roland and I try to come and share a little nugget or two with our audience. We're speaking to spiritual entrepreneurs, people who know that they're destined or designed for more and are not willing to settle for anything less. You want to tag that, Roland? Yes. So, I'm always looking for inspiration, motivation to continue my journey, to continue our journey, exploring greatness in all of its forms. And we were listening to Joel Osteen. He was talking about, purging or flushing out all the negativity. Because, our bodies are kind of like containers. What we put in, it depends on what we put in that the results that we're going to get in our lives.
Sooner or later, it's going to come out.
That's right. And so if we focus on negativity and just dwell on that in that cycle, that's all that's going to be there. And he says, if you just keep putting negative in, and there's no room for the positives. So you must flush out or empty these containers, our bodies, our minds, of those negative thoughts. And how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, he talked about, like if you have jealousy within, you're jealous or you're envious of someone who has maybe gotten a promotion that you had been working so hard for, instead of looking at them and thinking, oh, I'm jealous or I'm envious, what God has for you is for you. So be happy for them. Don't envy them.
Yeah.
That was for them. Maybe that was their time. Your time will come, and you just have to have hope and faith and trust that your time is going to come.
And there may be something that may be preventing your time from coming.
That's right. And like because you're so filled with all this stuff, this negative stuff, that until you release it or flush it out, that's when the positive can come into your life.
Yeah.
So he was saying that a lot of us walk around with guilt and shame, worry and doubt, bitterness and anger, jealousy and envy. We need to be conscious, be aware, or take inventory of what we have within us so that we know what we need to do to flush it out.
Yeah.
He says we need to replace those negatives with the positives, like love and joy, peace and happiness, confidence and hope, passion and creativity. Until this negative stuff is removed, there's no space to allow the positives.
Yeah. And it turns us into darker people if we don't purge those negative things. Then we end up taking it out on other people. I know as an educator, it's very dangerous for a teacher to walk into a classroom to have animosity and negative things built up, because you end up taking it out on the children. Okay, and that's not a very positive thing. That's not where we want to go. Or we end up taking it out on our loved ones.
Right.
So even I kind of felt that coming because of the stresses of the day. I would come home and I would take it out on maybe some of our children. But those things need to be purged.
Right. Completely. He says there are three things that we can do. And he used this example from an elderly woman who was into her hundreds. She was like, not hundreds, like maybe 101, 102, I don't know, somewhere in her hundreds. And her secret to longevity, having a longer, happier life, is to do these three things. She says, stop worrying. Worry only gets you more wrinkles. It only makes you older. It makes you grumpy, and then you're angry and bitter. And so stop worrying. God has a plan for you. We have to hope and trust and believe. He says, so that's the first thing. Stop worrying. 2, let things go. Yes, somebody may have done something to offend you. You cannot harbor that, keep holding on to, oh, he offended me or she offended me, and just live that from day to day. You have to release it, you know. And actually, I know for me, having those feelings, those thoughts, those negative feelings, and carrying them from day to day, it's like a cycle that you keep reliving and reliving, and you're not going to get anywhere. You have to let it go. You just have to. And then the elderly lady, she said, laugh a lot. Life is meant to be enjoyed. There are lots of things to enjoy, to you can even laugh at yourself. Sometimes we make mistakes. We shouldn't punish ourselves. Oh, I made a mistake. Okay, you made a mistake. You learn from it. It's a stepping stone to something else. You know. Did you have anything?
Well, I was thinking of one actor that really does that very well, and that's William Shatner, where he plays Captain Kirk on the original Star Trek. Every time I see that man, he's constantly reinventing himself. You know, and I see him doing things where he's laughing at himself. He's playing a character that he used to play, and he's laughing at himself. And, you know, he looks happy.
Yeah. So, in other words, life is meant to be enjoyed. Don't take it so seriously that you're just bundled up in knots in your stomach, and somebody say hello, and you're ready to bite their heads off. But, you know, we are on our journey to find the greatness, because we all have it. It's all inside of us. So we have to allow those creative juices to flow, and they can't flow if there's no room.
Yeah.
There's no room inside to allow those positives if we're just filled with negatives. So that's what we have. There's more to this, but we just want to share a few minutes what we learned. Good morning, Laverne. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining Roland and myself. Good morning to you, Sadie. Good morning to you, Barbara. Thank you for joining. And I think I see. Good morning, Sipo. Good morning to you. So that's what we have for you this morning. Friday, it's the weekend, and we're going to enjoy it today. Going outside, spring is here. You know, I love the outdoors. All right, and also wanted to let you know that sometimes in releasing some of the negatives, we can't release it until we write it down. So either you can write down by journaling. You know, that way you can look back and say, oh my gosh, look at how far I've come. These are where my thoughts were. And you can look and see how they have changed from the negativity to more positives. You can, as you're writing down, you may even consider writing it in a book, you know, and showing how you have overcome challenges that you've had in your life.
Another thing, too, in order to release the negatives, sometimes we have to right a wrong, because we may have wronged someone. Mm-hmm. So it's up to us to right that wrong, try to make it right to the best of your ability. Now, if the other person don't want to hear about it or don't want to engage in it, then, you know, we've done our parts.
That's right.
But sometimes it is our fault.
Right.
Why we have this negativity.
That's right. Good point, Roland. Good point. So, don't allow space in your life, in your mind, to occupy the negative. Purge it, flush it, and replace it with positives. That's the only way you can create room so that life, you can receive those blessings that God has for you, for us. And in so doing, you can also be free to bless others. So we thank you for joining us this morning. We will be back on Monday morning at 8 o'clock. And make today powerful and be blessed.
All right.
See you on Monday.
Okay, make that personal purge.
Yes. Bye now.
Bye-bye.